morning everyone. I am Shatarupa Mishra, Joint Director, Income Tax Publicity, New Delhi, and today it's my pleasure to welcome you to this special series of Samvaad. Today we have an important topic on the agenda: simplification of profits and gains of business and profession in the new Income Tax Act. To provide us with an in-depth understanding of the changes in this particular chapter and the potential impact on taxpayers and tax administration, we are fortunate to be joined by a distinguished guest. Please join me in welcoming Shri Anand Kumar Kedia, an IRS officer of the 1992 batch, currently serving as Principal Commissioner, Faridabad. Sir has an impressive career in the department and has also served as Director of Tax Policy for the Government of India, where he played a key role in shaping direct tax proposals for 3 consecutive budgets. He has also served as Director of Finance at NIFT. Additionally, he has also contributed to the drafting of the new Income Tax Act and was also instrumental in the creation of the INDAS while representing CBDT on the Accounting Standard Board of ICAI. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, sir, and joining us today in this episode of the special Samvaad series, sir. We would like to know more about, sir, what are the changes that have taken place in the new income tax bill, sir, regarding the chapter on profits and gains of business and profession.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for having me here. Now, as you know, income from business, profits and gains from business and profession, this is one of the most important provisions in the Income Tax Act. We get bulk of our revenue collection from business and profession. So, one can't undermine the importance of this chapter, and we have taken this chapter with all the seriousness to simplify the provisions. To begin with, the income from business and profession, it is we calculate it under the Indian Income Tax Act under the adjustment method, where we start with the profit or loss as per profit and loss account, and thereafter we make adjustments for certain incomes which the taxpayer may not have included in the profit and loss account. For example, non-compete fee, or say duty drawback, the assessee may not have taken it in the profit and loss account. So, that will add back, and therefore, certain expenses which the assessee may not have claimed, that also we allow even if it is not claimed in the profit and loss account under section 37 or under various sections kept in the Income Tax Act. So, we have not tampered with this basic structure of adjustment method of computation of profit and loss account for profits and gains of business and profession. What has changed? I mean, we have there are a large number of redundant provisions in the Act. Those provisions we have removed. We have introduced a lot of tables, some tables and formulas, which has made the understanding much easier. A lot of complex provisions have been explained through easy means in this way, and some sections which were have been merged. The flow of sections have been streamlined. Likewise, like kind of character of sections or provisions have been put together. So, overall, it has resulted in a large reduction of number of words. The number of words in the current profits and gains of business and profession chapter is around 25,000, while in the 1961 Act, the current Act, it is more than 50,000 words.
Yes, sir.
So, and so also the number of sections has reduced from 65 to 41. So, that is almost 40% reduction in number of sections.
So, we have noticed that the order of sections within the chapter on profits and gains of business and profession has been rearranged. Sir, what prompted this change and how does it affect the overall structure of the chapter, sir?
Over the last 60 years, when a lot of changes have been made in the Income Tax Act and in the profits and gains of business and profession chapter, so a lot of sections got added and many sections got deleted. As a result, sometimes you will find that expenditure of similar nature are not at one place. So, what we have tried to bring provisions which deal with similar kind of disallowance or where the theme is same. We have tried to put it together. For example, 43B, which deals with deduction on actual payment, that is far away from deduction for other expenditure, which is contained in section 37 or 40 capital A or section 40. So, we have tried to bring section 43 be close to where other deductions of expenditure are mentioned. Similarly, there are expenditures where the entire amount of capital expenditure incurred is allowed in the first year itself. For example, expenditure on scientific research, then investment linked deductions like 35 AD, then skill development project expenditure and agricultural extension project expenditure. These expenditure are of similar nature in the sense that capital expenditure is allowed upfront. These have been grouped together. We have done similar kind of thing, the definition section which was there in between, that has been put in the end. So this creates a much better flow, and it is much easier for a taxpayer to understand the provisions of profits and gains of business and profession, and therefore it simplifies the act.
Yes, sir. That would indeed be beneficial, sir, for the taxpayers. Sir, have there been significant changes in the provisions pertaining to deductions related to employee welfare, sir? Has there been any change? And if yes, sir, could you take us through those changes, sir?
Madam, it's a very interesting thing. When 30-40 years back, when I was doing my college and I was doing my CA, at that time also these provisions related to contribution to provident fund, gratuity fund, superannuation fund, it used to be like a very difficult to comprehend, and our teacher would ask where all these provisions are there in the act, and then we will try to identify. So, currently if you see, these provisions are spread over 40A7, 40A9, 3614, 3614A, 5A, and then there is a 43B also, and then there is charging section. So, a taxpayer, when he is thinking that, look, what are the provisions for contribution to the provident fund or gratuity fund, there is likelihood that he will miss some of the sections and he will not be aware of all the provisions. So, what we have tried to do, we have tried to put all these sections at one place, so that the taxpayer does not miss it. He knows that if there is employee's contribution, he must deposit it before the due date as per the relevant act, then only he will get a deduction. So, that way we hope that there will be better compliance, better understanding, and there will be less litigation.
Sir, could you explain how these provisions regarding deduction on bad debt and provision for bad and doubtful debt have been dealt with in the new bill vis-a-vis the previous act, sir?
So, जो हमारा जो नया bill है in the new bill, we have tried to bring all these provisions together. In the current act, Income Tax Act, the provision for bad and doubtful debts, they are in section 36(1)(7)(I), then 7(I)(A) and section 36(2). Now, if you want to know what are the conditions, you have to navigate through these sections. And between 36(1)(7) and 36(2), in between there are 10 different clauses which have come, which has nothing to do with bad and doubtful debts. So, again that creates a doubt in the mind of the taxpayer, that what are the conditions, how would he get to know them, and we have tried to put all these provisions at one place. And also this provision for bad and doubtful debts, these provisions in the current act, they had become little bit complicated, in the sense there were 10 clauses or subsections, there are 6 provisos and 4 explanations. Now, we have removed all the provisos and all the explanation, we have put it in the forms of subsections or clauses. So, you can see all at one place. And also for banks and financial institutions, we have made a table. In the table you can see that in a bird's eye view, that what are the conditions, what percentage of provision for doubtful debts are allowable. So, again this simplifies the whole provision related to bad and doubtful debts.
थैंक यू सर. सर, अगर हम डिडक्शन फॉर डेप्रिसिएशन की बात करें तो सर डिफरेंस क्या है जो पहले एक्ट में सेक्शन 32 में एंड नए बिल के सेक्शन 33 में, सर?
So, deduction for depreciation over a period of last 60 years, again this provision had also become slightly complex. जो हमारा existing act है उसमें there are 6 subsections, 8 provisos and 6 explanations, and again we have removed all the provisos, all the explanations, and the provisions have been sequentially arranged, and the number of word counts, they have been reduced by 40%. So, the depreciation provisions now, they read much better, you can understand them much better, and the scope for interpretation and confusion has been reduced a lot. At the same time, we have retained the rate of depreciation. We have not tinkered with the method of allowance of depreciation, that is straight line method or WDB method, that we have not disturbed, and what is the eligibility condition for depreciation, that also we have not disturbed.
Sir, since you spoke about the WDB, sir, it's in fact my next question. So, what are the changes in the definitions of actual cost and written down value? Sir, could you explain what these changes entail and their potential impact, sir?
So, again, for written down value and actual cost over a period of time to cater to various situations and various case laws, we have added a number of explanations. As a result, the entire provision had become again slightly difficult to understand and difficult to read. What we have done, we have introduced tables for different explanations, and also we have used formula to explain what will be the written down value. So, that makes the whole concept very, very clear if you go through the draft. The definition of written down value and actual cost is much simpler to understand and to read.
Sir, coming to my next question regarding the provisions related to expenditure in scientific research, sir. Sir, what does the new bill say about them, sir?
So, Satrupa जी, साइंटिफिक रिसर्च एक्सपेंडिचर एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एक्सपेंडिचर है बिजनेसेस को इंसेंटिवाइज करने के लिए कि वो साइंटिफिक रिसर्च पे खर्च करें, और हमने जो एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोविज़न है 100% डिडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर वो हमने रखा है अभी भी, और उसके अलावा हमने जितने प्रोसीजरल प्रोविजंस हैं उसको हमने कोशिश किया है कि हम रूल्स में ले जाएं, जैसे किस किस कंडीशंस पे अप्रूवल मिलेगा साइंटिफिक रिसर्च एक्सपेंडिचर का, वो हम रूल्स में लेके गए हैं. इससे क्या हुआ, हमारा सेक्शन काफ़ी डीक्लटर हो गया है और काफ़ी इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड हो गया है.
Right, sir. Sir, Section 43A of the Income Tax Act, which addresses capitalizing the impact of foreign exchange fluctuation. Sir, how is the revised section in the new bill differing from the previous section, sir?
तो अभी जो एक्सपेंडिचर जो है फॉरेन एक्सचेंज का, जो कि कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर के नेचर में है, उसमें under the existing provision, if you borrow some money abroad to buy certain asset, और उसमें अगर फॉरेन एक्सचेंज का फ्लक्चुएशन होता है, तो you are allowed to add or deduct that with your cost of the asset. And the way it is structured now, that is a very lengthy text, and one can say that they are a little bit complex. We have tried to simplify it. We have put a mathematical formula, we have brought a concept of variation in liability, and that you can calculate mathematically, and therefore the scope of interpretation has got reduced, and the section looks much simpler now, and I am sure it will also lead to reduction in litigation, because the formula that itself gives a kind of certainty to the provision.
Right, sir, absolutely, sir. सर कुछ जो प्रोविजंस हैं वो अभी नए बिल में दे हैव बीन शिफ्टेड टू द शेड्यूल, सर. सर कुड यू एलैबोरेट ऑन दोज प्रोविजंस, एंड सर क्या रैशनल था बिहाइंड दिस शिफ्ट, सर?
सो अभी जो हमारा करंट इनकम टैक्स एक्ट है, अगर आप उसको देखें तो जो इंश्योरेंस इंडस्ट्री के प्रोविज़न है, इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज के प्रोविज़न है, उसका सिर्फ इनेबलिंग प्रोविज़न मेन एक्ट में है, और द डिटेल्ड प्रोविज़न वो एक शेड्यूल में डाला हुआ है. बट देर आर मेनी अदर प्रोविजंस इन द एक्ट, like provisions related to site restoration fund, tea development account, coffee development account, and rubber development account, which are used by a very small number of taxpayers. So we decided, just like the insurance provision, we should shift them to the schedules, and this will lead to decluttering of the main provision. और जो उस सेगमेंट के जो टैक्स पेयर हैं, they can always go and look at the schedule, and for them also compliance will be same. So in effect, the main chapter on business and profession, that becomes decluttered, smaller, easy to understand.
Right, sir. Sir, now my next question is, sir, our viewers would like to know that what is the treatment given to deferred expenditure in the new income tax bill, sir?
Deferred expenditure, as you know, are those expenditure which are allowed over a period of time. Now we analyze that some of these deferred expenditures, they can be put in the form of a table, and the taxpayer, a businessman, he can see in a bird's eye view, okay, these are the expenditure which I will get an allowance over say 5 years or over, let us say, the life of the license in the case of telecom license. So those expenses like expenditure on acquisition of telecom license, and then spectrum fee expenditure, then expenditure on let us say amalgamation and demerger, voluntary retirement schemes expenditure. These expenditures we have put in the form of a table, and the taxpayer can know uphand that over how many years he will be getting to write it off. And those conditions which are there for allowing these deferred revenue expenditures, we have put them in the separate subsections below the table.
Thank you, sir, for that detailed explanation, sir, on deferred expenditure. Sir, now our viewers would definitely be interested to know, okay, sir, regarding presumptive taxation regime. Sir, what is the key changes in the new bill regarding the presumptive taxation provisions for residents and non-residents?
जो प्रिजम्पटिव टैक्सेशन स्कीम है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में, सो this scheme is used by millions of taxpayers in India. Lot of small businessmen and medium sized businessmen, they use this provision because उनको books of accounts maintain करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती है अगर इस section से वो comply करते हैं. So if a professional, अगर उसका turnover से कोई डॉक्टर है या कोई चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट है, उसका ग्रॉस रिसीट जो है ड्यूरिंग द ईयर 50 लाख तक है, तो ही डजंट नीड टू मेंटेन बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स. वो सिर्फ अपना 50% ऑफ द ग्रॉस रिसीट को ही कैन ऑफर फॉर टैक्सेशन, एंड ही डजंट नीड टू कीप हिज बिल्स एंड वाउचर्स एंड ऑल. So the whole compliance becomes very easy. As far as domestic taxpayer, the resident taxpayers are concerned, there are provisions in 44AD, 44ADA and 44A. And these these sections provide presumptive tax for different segment of taxpayers. We have tried to put it in a table. When again the taxpayer or income tax practitioner or a chartered accountant, he can see it in a table at one place कि क्या क्या conditions हैं presumptive tax के, और क्या rate लगेगा, किस turnover तक वो eligible होगा. All these things he can get in the form of a table. So again the understanding becomes very easy, and the provisions becomes very clearer.
Yes, sir, we really hope that this will lead to a reduction in litigation, sir. Sir, now coming to my last question, sir. Sir, are there any provisions in the chapter profits and gains of business and profession that remain unchanged in the new income tax bill?
So Satrupa ji, while simplifying this chapter, it is not that every section in the act needs to be merged or demerged, or table has to be put. So there are many sections where only the language had to be changed. जो long sentences थे उनको हमने short sentence बना दिया, जो redundant provisions थे उनको हटा दिया. मतलब कोई major उसमें कोई फेरबदल नहीं हुआ है. Those sections you can say, for example, section 29 है, then उसके बाद section 35AD जो investment linked deduction है, उसमें भी हमने language simplify किया है. 35E है, 37 है, section 41 है which is recapture expenditure, section 42 है, 43AA है, 43B है, 43C, 43CA और 43CB, 43D, 44, 44A, 44AA which is maintenance of books of accounts, and 44AB. Then 44C which is related to deduction of head office expenditures, 44DA. These provisions, there has not been much change except for language simplification and removal of redundant provisions. There might be some minor changes there.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this clear and detailed way in which you have explained what are the changes, what are not the changes in this very crucial chapter. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today and clarifying the important changes in the chapter of profits and gains of business and profession in the new bill. We thank you again,
Thank
sir.
you so much for inviting me. I am sure with these changes, the compliance will become much better
Absolutely,
both for the
sir.
taxpayer and the tax administration.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
sir. Absolutely, sir.